Welcome to my birthday. It's a wicked one. I am going to share my past. I wasn't always known as wicked, but I should have been. I lived in the high desert in Southern California, way out in the middle of nowhere, but within reach of everything. So I became like a weekend wicked girl. Um, we'd cruise down to Palm Springs. A girlfriend of mine had a limousine that we borrowed from her boyfriend's dad, and we would go cruising the strip. And one cruise, we stopped at a club, and oh well, they say that if you can't sing and you can't dance, you can write. But I could dance. I could really dance back in them days. And I met this guy, and he asked me to dance, and it was one of those moments where magic happened, and everybody moved off the dance floor and applauded us, and we were like in the middle dancing, like you see in movies. It actually happened to me. He got my number, and I thought he was interested in me, but he did call me and wanted me to dance the circuit. I didn't really know what that was, but I agreed because I really wanted to go out with him. So every weekend after that, we went what we call down below, which means to LA. And we went to all the clubs and entered the dance contests. And we raked in quite a bit of money. We didn't always take first place, but we really did have uh, a good routine or five. And we won a lot of money and trophies. And so I did that for about 3 months. And then these is during my teen years. So I was underage, technically. And after that, I bought myself a car and I used the money out of my savings. And me and a girlfriend, her name was Mary. Well, I called her Jugs because she had an incredible top shelf. It doesn't hurt a girl to hang out with another girl that looks like that. So we started on in San Diego, and we took what they call the Royal Road, and that's Highway 1, all the way up to the top of California. We started at San Diego, and to this day, I'm telling you, if I see a Navy guy in his uh, dress uniform, my heart stops. There were some really incredible guys that I knew back then. And then we moved from San Diego on up to LA, and that's where the real fun started. Somehow we met this music producer's son, and he invited us to a party at a mansion, and that started us in the party circuit. And we went from party to party, and we just had a ball at the most lavish settings you could ever imagine. Here's two young girls, and just because we were slightly pretty, we got in. Nobody noticed us. Nobody kicked us out. One party, we were in an Olympic-sized pool, swimming topless, of course, and we saw a band setting up. We didn't pay much attention, but we were like diving underwater. And when we came up, the band started to play, and our mouths popped open, and we could not believe that it was the Cars that were playing for this guy at his poolside. And I think they played it just what I needed, which was the hit that year. And we got served champagne by a server, and we couldn't believe it that the Cars was playing for us while we were swimming. It was cool. So there were other parties, some in Malibu, some in the Hollywood Hills, some in Beverly Hills. I remember this particular mansion we were at, and we were goofing off, Mary and I, and she bumped into me, and I spilled a drink on the guy next to me. And I turned to apologize, and my mouth popped open yet again. It was David Bowie. I was speechless, except that out of my mouth came something so embarrassing. I said, "Do you realize you're David Bowie?" And he said in his cultured British accent, "I'm quite aware that I am David Bowie." And so we were trying to dry him off, and we were actually feeling up David Bowie. It wasn't the best moment of my life, but it was the most delicious. He just thought we were the ditziest blondes he ever saw. And then after that, we went to several more. Yeah, I saw George Michael's, but I couldn't even get near him because you'd have to have a machete just to cut through the makeup the women wore that surrounded him. And we all know years later that those women didn't stand a chance. And yeah, I actually talked and hung out with Boy George one night. We smoked a joint or two. together. And he told us lots of stories about the inside business and how he knew Michael Jackson and other little tidbits that I don't really remember to this day, but it was the most awesome time. Then we moved from LA up through Malibu, and we partook in what was all the rage at the time. It's beachfront bonfires. So, you just dance around a bonfire and get drunk or high or play music or just party, meet guys. And the lifeguards and security for the beach, they were the hottest looking guys you ever saw. And that was, like icing on the cake. Then we moved up to San Jose and San Francisco, where I accidentally turned on the world's most crookedest road. Most tourists go there on purpose, and I got on that by accident. I thought I'd never get off that road. I thought I was going to get a ticket or crash or something, and it was just a nightmare, but it was hilarious. So, uh, Chinatown was interesting. We actually got into a real opium den, and I would tell you about that, but I don't remember a whole lot because just breathing the air makes you forget everything in your life. So we cruised all the way up to the redwoods in the top of the state, and we kind of went broke, so we worked as car hops in a 50s style drive-in, and that was an experience. I actually wore hot pink shorts, and oh, I forgot to tell you about Metallica. I was a groupie for 6 weeks and went all over California with their band. No, I never got to go out with any of the guys, but I got to roll joints for them, listen to their conversations about who was who in the business and who sucked. And, they did say the F word every other word. It was a revelation. And yeah, I went from disco to cars to being a metalhead, but that's what I did. I changed all the time. I'm missing about, 5 or 10 adventures. Like the one time I got really close to being in a menage a trois. And, well, I won't talk about that, but I've never written about one. And I always say that I don't write the truth, I just write bits of it. Anyways, if you came here, you're enjoying this conversation, and you must be most wicked because only the most wicked get into this party. As you can see on your feeds, it is smoking. I know my wicked friends and my wicked ladies will be very entertaining, along with Ava A.R. Vaughn, who considered to co host this for me. And I chose her only because she's so bubbly and so good with people. So have a good time. I hope you enjoyed a glimpse into my past. I hope I covered everything. Good night.